All right, good morning to Facebook. I'm WPTV's multimedia journalist, Josh Navarro. And today we are talking again about cruises. There has been a lot of changes between the last time we did a Facebook Live till today. And with me, joining me right now is a Cruise Planner's Chief Operating Officer, Vicky Garcia. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well. Just to start off, what has changed within the last couple of days within the cruise line industry? We heard a big cruise line is making some changes and possibly is ready to set sail come summer.
Yeah, so I think we'll see an ever-evolving, changing wheel here as we kind of navigate through these waters, per se. I guess pun intended. That was just came out. But we're going to see things like required vaccinations to start off with. And that may not be forever, but to start off with, requiring vaccinations for sure. I think masks are still up in the air, whether they'll be required or not, because since everyone will be required to be vaccinated, they don't know yet. So they've not made full-on determinations whether masks will be required everywhere or just in public areas. Social distancing will always be recommended. The ships won't sail full on purpose. They're going to keep it at limited capacity just for that very social distance purpose.
Right on. And I did hear that celebrity cruise lines under the Royal Caribbean are going to start setting sail in June. What made them to go ahead and do it without any type of CDC guidelines so far?
You know, the CDC, unfortunately, has been very cruel and unfair to the cruise industry. They've kind of picked on the cruise industry, it seems, because hotels are okay. You know, going in a swimming pool is okay. Restaurants are fine. Why a cruise ship is not, when cruising's been one of the cleanest methods of leisure travel ever, actually. Having hand sanitizer around everywhere was around way before COVID made it popular here on cruise ships. So them doing it from an outside port made it actually interesting because the CDC can't control them there. And the CDC was kind of fine, like, go ahead, try it. So this might be a way to prove to the CDC that this can be done. So it wasn't just Celebrity. Actually, Royal Caribbean announced also a ship sailing. And Crystal Cruises did as well. And I think there's a few more coming up in the next week or so. So when you said what's changed in the last week since you last spoke to us, it's going to be constant. You and I might be having dates every week or so.
Hey, I'm down to talk about changes within the cruise industry. If you're just joining us, Vicky Garcia with Cruise Planners is just joining us right now to talk about some of the changes within the cruise line industry. So if you have any questions for her, please put it in the comments below. That way we can ask it live here on a Facebook Live. And if you have any other comments or where you would like to go or will you go on a cruise, also be sure to put those comments as well. I see one comment that says from Janet that asks, what about crew members? Will they be vaccinated?
Really good question. Yes, the cruise lines that have announced return to sail are requiring and they're facilitating their crew members being vaccinated. So that's a good question.
And also, it's so interesting. Just today, the governor just announced this morning that everyone age 18 and older can be eligible for the vaccine starting on April 5th. That's just like around the corner when, it is cruising season. The summer's coming along. Do you anticipate possibly more changes and within the cruise line industry now that this rule the eligibility has been opened for people age 18 and older?
It opens up the door to families being able to book their travels, where maybe before they were hesitant because their kids couldn't get vaccinated. Now they can. So I think we definitely will see that as a change. And then some of them, I think Royal Caribbean put out the policy where under a certain age, they would just have to be tested, and that's fine. So we're getting there little by little, that's for sure.
All right. We have another question from Sandy Lawrence. When should we book? Will spots fill up? So this is a very good question that everybody has in mind. When should they book for a cruise?
So here's my advice always, but especially right now, if there's such a limited ships and limited space, is book now. I'll give you a real life example. The celebrity ship that opens up sailing, it's going to sail June 5th and beyond. That June 5th sailing, because I went to personally book, all the upper categories sold out. They're waitlist only. So this happened to Crystal Cruises as well when they opened up a couple weeks ago, sold out because it's so limited and there's so much pent up demand. We all want to travel so badly. And yeah, I'm lined up just like everybody else, and I have my shots. I'm vaccinated.
All right. So where would the cruise line go? I'm reading that they're going to St. Martin. Is it leaving from the Fort Lauderdale port, or is it from Palm Beach port? What do you guys know?
Yeah, no, so right now we cannot sail out of Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach. The ships have to sail outside of the country. So what's happening is, for example, Celebrity is sailing out of St. Martin to other islands nearby. You've got Crystal Cruises is sailing out of Nassau to a couple other Bahamian islands as well nearby. So they're getting creative, and I'm hearing more and more that they are really getting creative, and we'll start hearing more fun itineraries coming out. And there are some European ports that are also open. When you think of the Greek Isles, they said they're opening up May 14th. So I'm sure we'll start seeing some cruise itineraries taking us there.
All right, so you're saying that they're sailing out of St. Martin, Nassau. So I'm in Florida. How do I get on a cruise that is leaving from an island? Do I fly there and then book on to go on the cruise from there? Or that just seems like a lot of extra money. How does it going to all work?
What do you mean? You can't walk on water? So the cruise lines are getting creative to make this happen, right? So they've made, for example, Celebrity has made some packages available that includes air from a lot of different destinations. So, and they've made the pricing very appealing. They have some pricing starting at $19.99 for a 7-night, including air. So they're making it really attainable to have air and the cruise. And that's a really great deal because flying to St. Martin, to your point, is not inexpensive.
All right. If you guys are just joining us, we have Vicky Garcia, Cruise from Cruise Planners. We're talking about that Celebrity Cruise is based out of Miami under the Royal Caribbean Group. They are going to start selling out of St. Martin starting, I believe, in June. Is that right?
June 5th is Royal Caribbean, is Celebrity, and I believe the week after is Royal Caribbean.
Okay, so there's a lot of excitement because they're setting sail without even the guidance of the CDC. They were just like, you know what, we're not going to wait for nobody. We're just going to go ahead and sail. That's what it seems like. What are you hearing from the pipeline as far as their decision to go ahead and do this?
No, that's exactly the point. It's like, we got to get this thing started. There's a lot of jobs that are at stake here in this industry, the hospitality industry, but travel and cruising, etc., that we've got to get this back in motion just to get our city and our people taken care of. And this is one way to start it up. And it's a way, like I said earlier, is to prove to the CDC this can happen. You're just not paying attention to us.
What are some of the rules and guidelines that folks are going to have have or meet in order to go on this cruise, and as well as staff on board?
Yep. As mentioned earlier, everyone will have to be vaccinated as long as they're of the age that they're eligible to be vaccinated. Masks, they still haven't come out yet with whether it will be required, or is it just when you get up from your table or not. They have several weeks to figure that out. Social distancing will be recommended because the fact that limited capacity on the ships is going to just kind of, when you go to a show, they're going to put seats that are not able to be used between parties of 5, a family or whatever. So just, I think the same stuff we're living through at home is what they're doing. There'll be enhanced screening and testing before, during, and returning home. They're even going to have COVID tests prior to leaving home, and then again, pierside, and when they disembark, so that when they get to the airport, they can show their COVID test also. So they're taking a lot of precautions.
That'll depend on which country you sail to, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Marisol is asking, Janet, do we do you need a travel agents? Do you need travel agents, Vicky?
Well, I say do not travel without using a travel agent, and not only because we own a very large travel agency, but the reason I say that, Marisol, and that's a really great question, is travel agents can help you navigate the complexity of this. Look, booking a cruise was always somewhat complicated. Now this has really amped up the complications. Whether do you need the vaccine? Where do I get it? What kind of vaccine? And what kind of testing do they take? Can I laminate my vaccine card? Should I? What should I do? There's a lot of complexity there, where a travel agent can help you navigate all that. They can actually book you a luggage concierge if you want to ship your luggage home to not worry about it because you're coming from St. Martin. Um, they can do all of that in between work that you shouldn't have to be chasing after and searching for.
And what about for folks who don't agree with getting a vaccine? Will they still be able to go on these cruises, or is just going to be something that is mandatory across the board?
I think to start off, it'll be just mandatory across the board and all for all crew as well.
Okay, and this is such a big news that happened today, this morning, with Governor DeSantis announcing that people ages 18 and older are now eligible for the vaccine starting on April 5th. Again, just reiterate how will that impact many families here in Florida and those people who are wanting to go on cruises?
Yeah, it just makes it more available and easier and less things to worry about. I have a nephew in that age range and he can't wait to do it, so he can't be told he can't go. When Diego's on a cruise, he wants to go too. So it just makes it that much easier and safer for everybody. So that's just it right there.
All right, another question from Sandy Lawrence. Will shore excursions still happen? We all
So
like
good
to
question, Sandy.
on the shore.
Yeah, right. Good question, Sandy. So it really depends on the itinerary at this point. So we're waiting and seeing what the cruise lines come out with. In some cases, I know in all cases, they will have recommended shore excursions. That way they know everyone's in the bubble of the same people. But with that same point, if everyone's vaccinated, you should be okay to go out and wander around the islands as long as they're safe islands.
Again, just to reiterate, what are you hearing from these cruise line industry, especially from Celebrity Cruises that are starting to set sail come June? Why is that so, I guess, important for folks to know, especially those who are waiting to go on a cruise? They've been cooped up or, limited as far as where they can go and travel because of restrictions. Why is it so important for folks to know?
Well, it's exactly that. It's been that pent up demand. So we've seen it already. We've seen it in terms of our bookings for next year. Like people that have called our travel advisors and have booked their travel for next year is through the roof. We've surpassed records over 2019 pre-COVID. But looking at just these couple of sailings that have opened up, they've sold out in a day. So we're seeing it. So if you're looking to get away this summer, or even if you're looking to get away next year, book it now because you're going to lock up the best rates ever. I mentioned an example about that June 5th on the Celebrity. I wanted to get on it myself, and thank God I was able to log in early. But I pulled it up this morning, and all those categories were sold out. And the rates had gone through the roof from when I purchased it yesterday.
All right, we have Brianna commenting the pent-up demand is real. Adam says we need to get cruises going, please. Everything else is open. We were talking about last week as far as like the cruise line industry felt like they were like left out because hotels were open, theme parks are open within the state of Florida, as well as restaurants.
Agreed. As I mentioned earlier, I feel like the cruise industry has been kind of poked at or been treated like the redheaded stepchild for some reason. The CDC has been picking on the cruise industry, and it's time for that to stop. It's like enough already. You're killing an entire industry of thousands and thousands of workers losing their jobs because we've been sitting here idle for a year. So it's time to get shaken, and I think this is one great way that Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, and Crystal, and others who will follow suit are trying to ramp that up.
What's the time frame as far as like maybe other cruise lines are going to start taking the same approach like Celebrity and start mobilizing and getting back out into the waters?
I mean, not that I know anything, but some little birdies may have whispered things here or there. I think in the next week or two, we're going to start seeing one or two more cruise lines announcing more ships.
Okay, and what would people who want to book on a cruise, what should they know? What do they need as far as like the new requirements that cruise ships are going to have?
I think as far as what they're going to need to bring obviously their card with their vaccine proof. And what I always recommend to people, even with their passports, is make a copy of it so that you have a copy always with you. Do not laminate the card, because I've seen a lot of that online, because you might need to get booster shots later on in life and you can't write on the laminated or whatever. But if you want to laminate the copy so that it lasts more, that's great. That's fine. But other than that, I personally travel with multiple masks because I like to change the fashion of it. I don't want just the medical one. So just bring and be ready to be happy and enjoy and, liberate yourselves and, and enjoy the surroundings in these beautiful ports of call that they need the stimulus too. Don't forget.
Now, Vicky's joining us from Cruise Planners. Some folks are asking, what are alternatives for people who don't want to go on a cruise just yet? What else is out there for them?
Oh, wow. So we help our travelers with a ton of all-inclusive resorts, whether it be Mexico, Punta Cana, anywhere in the Caribbean. We've got tons of people spring breaking. The theme parks you mentioned, national parks have made a huge return this year for obvious reasons. People couldn't go very far. What do I do with the kids? They're driving me crazy. Let's rent an RV and let's go to do national parks and do some road trips and stuff. So we've seen some of that.
Okay. And let's see here. Let's put Vincent then says, I've enjoyed 6 cruises without a mask or vaccination. I will not wear a face symbol or take COVID vaccine to take a cruise. So like I said, there are people that are not wanting to get vaccinated. When do you expect to see possibly a couple years down the line once that rule is not mandatory anymore? This is just like you said, at the beginning phase to get things going again.
Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball on that. It could be as soon as this fall or winter. Like, you never know if December, end of year. I think they want to start this off right and make sure they're not spreading COVID on board ships, because this could turn everything around, right? So we've got to be as cautious as possible. So Vincent, I understand your feelings there, and I respect that. I just think that for right now, the cruise lines are going to be as safe as possible.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about the big takeaways. We have Celebrity Cruise about to set sail this summer. People must be vaccinated and staff. What else is the rules or you want people to be conscious of?
And let me just preface that. There's Celebrity Cruises, Royal Caribbean Cruises, and Crystal Cruises setting sail this summer. So you've got 3 options right there off the bat, and more to come in the next week or so. There's really not anything else. You just got to make sure that if you're leaving the country just to go to an all-inclusive, which again, a travel agent can help you navigate through that, is they can help you tell you that, this to fly into X, Cancun or whatever, they require a COVID test 3 days prior or whatever. They can give you the rules and kind of navigate through the complications of that.
And the way that they're doing it is that folks would fly to St. Martin, fly to Nassau, and take the cruise starting from there.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vicky from Cruise Planners, for joining us on this morning chat here on Facebook. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And don't forget, if you're looking for someone to help you plan your cruise, go to cruiseplanners.com and click on Find a Travel Advisor.
All right, Vicky, thank you so much. And thank you guys for commenting and asking your questions. Be sure to like the video and share it. I'm Josh Navarro, and we'll see you next time.